In this video, I'll reveal the secret form tips that Jakob uses to run away from elite athletes like this, and show how any level of runner can easily transform their running technique and improve their running performance without getting fitter. But first, you need to pull up a video of yourself running so that you can compare Jakob's technique to your technique. Then you need to watch until the end of the video to see how you can transform your running to be more like Jakob. Now, the aim of the game for running on the track from 1500 meters up to 10,000 meters is efficiency and saving your legs for the inevitable kick at the end of the race. And even from an early age, Jakob has mastered this to get to the finishing line first. To look at this first running tip, we have to go all the way back to the 2019 European final, where a young Jakob and his older brother Henrik would do battle. And it's very clear to see that Jakob is so economical with his movement. So here's what he's doing. Jakob has his elbows tucked into his side and has his arms tucked up into his body and has his hands and his shoulders in a really relaxed position. And as he goes through his gait cycle, his arms aren't even crossing the midline, which means that there's hardly any rotation in his upper body. When you're running, your arms counteract the rotational forces of your lower legs to remain in good posture. And so it's clear that Jakob is perfectly balanced, as his arms and shoulders remain quite still and tucked into his body. Here we can see how Henrik has his arms lower and flared out more, which makes it harder for him to hang with Jakob as the cadence and speed cranks up towards the end of the race. His shoulders are rocking from side to side way more than Jakob's, which tells me he's probably relying more on his lower legs bouncing him from side to side in this kind of springing gait style, compared to Jakob, who's using much more of his hips and his leg muscles to propel him forward through his gait. These small inefficiencies put a limiter on your performance, especially when you're getting tired. And this race is the perfect example of this. In the last section of the race, Henrik looks to be tightening up through his upper body and shoulders. And I see a lot more shoulder rolling and body rotation as he's trying to maintain his speed as best as he can. Jakob stays extremely relaxed, even in the last section of the sprint when he's going up the gears. He is so relaxed, he even has the mental clarity to check how his brother's going on the big screen. Although his arms and shoulders start to rock as he gets more into his 800 meter race pace, he still remains very relaxed and balanced from side to side. And Henrik, he tightens up over the last lap, loses lots of ground on Jakob and falls over the line, literally. Now, this is not to say that Henrik is a bad athlete at all. He's a fantastic runner. But compared to the current #1 in athletics at the moment, the difference is so clear. Please comment below if this is something that you've actually identified as an issue in your running and how you actually solved it. We'll touch on how to solve it later in the video. So let's fast forward to a couple of years later, in 2021 at the Tokyo Olympics and in the 1500 meter final, on the back straight of the last lap, and we can see the running form of Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Timothy Chariot from Kenya. But is there anything that you notice on first glance about the contrast of running form between Jakob and Timothy? What we can see is that Jakob has a slight forward lean and Timothy has a much more pronounced forward lean. And if we look further back in 4th place, coming into 3rd, Josh Kerr, he doesn't have much of a lean at all. It's clear in this race that there's a lot of variation in forward lean, but which one is best? Here we can see a plot of forward lean among many popular athletes that you would have seen before. And clearly there's a big variation. Now, they all have similar race times. And one thing to understand is that speed and efficiency are not the same thing. But what I can see though is that outside of those normative values, efficiency starts to drop off as the pace gets higher in those last couple of 100 meters when the win is on the line. A greater or lesser than forward lean outside of 10 to 15 degrees has been associated with reduced running economy. Not enough lean, and our center of mass isn't far enough in front of our bodies to actually conserve momentum. And leaning too far forward, it's likely that you're increasing the impact forces through your knee and iliotibial tracts, which may lead to overuse injuries. So we need to get it just right to be as efficient as Jakob. And if we look at Jakob, we see that his forward lean is at about 13 degrees. And whether he's running in a 1500 meter or a 5000 meter race, it's pretty much the same the whole way through, and he's maintaining excellent core and postural stability. The result of this forward lean is that Jakob has his center of mass in front of his body, and so he's falling into every step as efficiently as possible. Jakob went on to win this 1500 meter final, like most races, by sprinting away in the last 100 meters and maintaining excellent running form. And while I bet you can now see how clear his forward lean is, there's one more thing that he's doing to unlock some more free speed. Now, the way to run faster, simply put, is to increase your stride frequency and stride length. The problem with that is that you can't continue to increase your stride frequency forever. Unless you're that kid from The Incredibles, then yes. So along with improving the things we've already talked about in this video, they're also trying to improve their hip extension. And they're using a trick to do it, and I'm gonna show it you. As I move my center of mass forward when leaning, I'm increasing the tilt of my hips, which means that I get much more out of my hip mobility compared to if I was upright. So let's have a look at Jakob. Not only does he have his hips tilted, he also has excellent hip mobility, which allows him to stretch his legs right out in the last section of a race to maintain his speed. This, combined with his relaxed running style and excellent fitness, is why he's running away with races in the last 100 meters. Now here's a race that I came across recently when I was researching Jakob and his rise to dominance. An 800 meter race, against his brother, Philip. It is incredible to me that Jakob is able to be so fast from 10K distances all the way down to 800 meters. And even when he's running 49-second laps of the track. But to look at this next tip, we have to compare his running form to his brother's running form in the last 100 meters of this race. And I slowed this footage right down to get the average step rate or cadence of the last 10 seconds of the race. Philip had a cadence of 204 steps per minute in the last 100 meters of the race, and we can see that his form is really starting to break down, especially in the last 40 meters. Jakob had a cadence of 216 steps per minute and was able to maintain this high turnover without reducing his running efficiency. It's crazy to me watching this that Jakob's face isn't even tensed up at the end of this race. Maybe we should put him in a 400 meter race to see how composed he stays. So how can you have a cadence this high and not completely fall apart? Well, you need to have what we've covered in this video so far. Good stability through the upper body, a relaxed posture, forward lean, and excellent hip mobility, all of which Jakob possesses. But leg recovery really is something that Jakob uses to go through the gears in the final stages of a race. So what is leg recovery? And no, I don't mean ice baths and stretching. Leg recovery is what the leg does between the time it leaves the ground to when it contacts the ground again. So here's how I would identify leg recovery as something that's impacting your performance. As we can see, we can actually track this absolute amateur runner to see as they push off with their toe, whether their leg goes above the knee joint, in line, or below. If it's below, you're likely losing leg recovery, and that's why you can't turn over your legs as fast as Jakob. Jakob's leg is tracking above his knee joint. And when he's running at his 800 meter pace, he is way above. Now the leg angle is controlled by many things. One being your hip mobility and the other being the force production that you put into your toe off or when your foot pushes off the ground. So here's a few easy things that you can start to do today to run more like Jakob and access that free speed that you're leaving out on the table. Number one, stop trying so hard. During your workouts, aim to have good running form, stay relaxed and maintain excellent posture. So when you start to fall apart during your workout, either give yourself more rest time or slow down so that you don't reinforce really bad running habits. Number two, focus on your forward lean. Keep in mind that these kind of modifications are quite advanced and is partially the result of already having excellent mechanics. But anyway, here's a tip that you can use to get yourself going. Imagine that you're falling into each step and catching yourself, rather than trying really hard to propel yourself each step. Number three, go through the gears often. This way you're always going to be improving your running efficiency to be more like Jakob. To start though, you can start by adding acceleration runs or what people call strides at the end of your easy runs. And you can progress this over time and start to include workouts into your week. Number four, improve your hip mobility. We want to increase the length of our hip flexor muscles through stretching and mobility drills. Here is an exercise that you can start doing today to work on this. Now there's clearly levels to this game, and while Jakob is dominating the shorter distances, there is a new marathon king on the scene with a revolutionary running form that I've broken down in the next video. You should go watch it.